Hey everybody! This is like my third try, so hopefully we get it right this time. This is my response to Memphis Final Gym and the Misses 500 subs contest. And first of all, congratulations on getting 500 subscribers. That's no small feat in this this dark, meaningless, sad world. Sorry guys, I'm feeling goofy right now, but yeah, I am a big fan of your videos. I've just recently been going through a lot of your old ones, and just in my last video I was talking about how awesome I think the Perfect Tens thread was. You know, it's provided a lot of really cool videos that I'm still in the process of checking out. So I know we aren't in much of a direct communication, and you know, I don't always have something to say about your videos, so I just like them. But kudos to you. And this is my response to the 500 greatest albums of all time from Rolling Stone. And my main point here that I'm going to make is that I do not care what is on Rolling Stone's 500 greatest albums of all time. Because, I mean, growing up, Britney Spears was on Rolling Stone's cover, Bill Clinton, NSYNC. Like, there was nothing I cared about. And so when I was first getting serious about music and into listening to music and of my own discovery and playing music, you know, guitar magazines, Hit Parade, Circus, you know, those magazines were actually about music, and I read those coming up, you know, in the mid '90s, early mid '90s, and that was what it was important to me. So as far as what Rolling Stone has to say about the greatest albums, I'm not gonna let it bother me. There's some interesting things to consider, though. You know, I think the fact that everybody's getting riled up about overrepresentation of the Beatles, and I also like the points of the underrepresentation of female artists. You know, those are both very important things to think about when we're talking about an institution like Rolling Stone. However, you know, I think there's two contrasts of outcomes from this list. First is some kid picks up Rolling Stone magazine, buys all 500 of those albums. That's the best case scenario here. And they're all good. As far as I know, they're all good. And obviously Rolling Stone should take responsibility and represent some things that are possibly underrepresented. But they've never done that, in my opinion, so I don't know why I would expect them to. I'll leave that to the internet. Yeah, so best case scenario, some kid buys 500 albums and has a relatively good classicist, rockist foundation on which to start their music, you know, life. The worst case scenario is it gets a bunch of nerds like us to argue about the list and talk about the things that we think are underrepresented, and I mean, that's fun. So that's the worst case scenario. In the worst case scenario, you know, we perpetuate a very boring, whitewashed view of musical history. That's the real worst case scenario. But you know, I mean, Rolling Stone, it's not going to be around much longer, right? We're going to give up on that, I hope. Anyway, so I pulled out a few records to kind of touch upon a few things. The first of which was the videos that I've watched in response to this list are the aversion to compilations. And I've noticed this through other videos that people don't regard compilations as like the real deal. And I think that's interesting to me, because what it does is it makes the LP, the actual album, something sacred. And so when something else, like a compilation, removes something from its sacred context and puts it in a new place that is less sacred, it's bastardized, and it's not quite as real or authentic as the LP. And I think that, I don't know, I mean, a good compilation, we make mixtapes all the time. Those are compilations, and I think mixtapes are awesome. I have some mixtapes I like listening to more than albums. And And I'm going to show a couple of compilations here that I feel are good examples of why compilations should be included. Now, I mean, Eagles' greatest hits, I mean, I don't give a shit about that, but, for instance, this is on the list. Hank Williams' 40 greatest hits. Awful cover, sure. To be sure, this is an awful cover. It's 2 LPs. And it's 40 of pretty much every single song that charted for Hank Williams, including, two after his death. And I think that Hank Williams has like 1 album, like 2 albums. I mean, I don't know. I haven't researched this extensively, but I mean, he was a singles artist. And so in this situation, when people were either mostly releasing 78s or 45s, like a compilation is a pretty good place to live. I mean, I'm not going to go out and buy 40 Hank Williams 45s and have to change the record every time. I mean, this is great. And anybody who wants to start with Hank Williams, this is where you go. There's a 24 greatest hits. That sucks. It added strings to all of his songs and a backing band. I mean, these are just the straight shot, real deal singles, and deserving of being included as an LP. This is an album. This is a collection of songs that works, even though it's a compilation. Another example of what I feel is a great compilation, reasons compilations should exist and be regarded as so. The Indestructible Beat of Soweto. This is on the list, and with good reason. I mean, you're not going to have these albums. I mean, you might seek them out. You might have them. I don't know. I don't even know. And wow, okay, so that's where I've seen that label before. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. I've seen this label in like my last 3 videos, and then it's like, where have I seen it before? It's this. But anyway, it's a really good example of a good compilation and reasons why they deserve to be included. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. I don't understand the vitriol towards compilations. One thing that I was going to point out about the Rolling Stone list, very, very, very small beef, but a beef nonetheless. This is in the top 5. Marvin Gaye's "What's Going On," and I have pretty much every Marvin Gaye LP. Marvin Gaye is a huge inspiration to me as a performer, as a singer. The things he does with his voice are incredible. However, the fact that this is in the top 10, which at best is really one song, just repeated throughout the album. And I mean, I know it touched upon a frustration of the time, and perhaps contexts are something that's being considered in the list. They wrote like 4 sentences for each album, so I don't think that they're thinking that much about it. But this is basically one song, and it doesn't really provide many answers to the question, what's going on? Nor, I mean, it doesn't have a question mark, so it doesn't also tell us what's going on. I really don't think this should be in the top 10. What I do think should be in the top 10 is Marvin Gaye's masterpiece, "Here My Dear." I mean, come on. This is at like 490 something. And this is a monster. This is a double record of just nothing but this is misery, sadness, emotion, anger, frustration, way better than what's going on. And there's obviously a story behind this. I mean, look, it's called "Here My Dear." This is his album directly addressed to his ex-wife, and that all the money for this album would go to his ex-wife. I mean, the fact that this album, all the way at the top of the list, and this, all the way at sorry, I said that wrong. This is all the way at the bottom of the list. This is all the way at the top. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna I have to cry foul on that one. This is the one. Just saying. On a lighter note, this should have been much higher too. Don't you guys agree? I mean, come on. Come on! Equipment I was way too high. I love this album. But that's it. Good luck to everybody in the contest. I'm looking forward to hearing more results. And that's it for me. My advice, don't read Rolling Stone.